What's going on, guys? We're going to do another awesome burst today using Angelus leather dies. I built this guitar body over the last couple weeks as some of my ongoing projects I've got going on. This is an awesome maple Burl top from Kimball Hardwoods. And then this is some Eastern Hard Rock maple that I had. These billets weren't that nice in terms of figure, so I figured I would put them on the back of this awesome Burl top. This Burl top had some inclusions, so I laid in some epoxy first. It's a yellow and red, since we're doing a nuclear burst. It was one of my bursts from many years ago that everyone loves. I inlaid that into the two top sections here that had really large voids. This has been hollowed out just enough, so it's about the weight of a standard guitar body. If this was all maple, it would have been way too heavy. So we applied an Angelus brown stain first, stained the whole body, back, and then we came back and sanded that out for about 10 to 15 minutes. What I want to do is get a nice base color in and make sure that it really highlights the different grain lines in this wood, all the different burls. And then we're going to come back with some dark brown, red, orange, and yellow, and we're going to totally make this over and make it pop. And we're going to do the same thing to the back. Granted, it's not book match, but I should be able to get that pretty close. So when you're doing these projects, you only really need 3-ounce bottles. I obviously go through a ton of this stuff, so I get the big bottles for myself. Again, if you like guitar-related content, subscribe, comment, and click that bell. So what we'll do is we'll start off with, I guess the dark brown, and we'll just rub it in on the sides just to get it going a little bit. That way we can maneuver it later. I've already got a nice base. So just gonna darken this up. I'm doing these strokes so it looks more like a paintbrush-ish than some of the circular motion I get. There is a little bit of a difference, especially on a burl. The burls tend to soak up the dye so quickly that the circle would leave like a swirl here. I at least get some sort of like paintbrush look. Alright, so that looks about right. Sometimes I do teardrop shape, sometimes I just leave it. Gonna leave that. We'll come back with some red and move the red in. I always get a little scared applying red. Sometimes it never comes back out. But that's why we put the dark brown first. So we'll pull the red down. And with that epoxy, what we'll do is we'll come back over it with a little sandpaper. We'll rub that in. Probably what we'll end up doing is sanding a bunch of this out and then adding yellow at the end. That's like the magic trick for all of this. So you can see it's nice in pink. And then we'll come back with some orange. And we'll move that down. Actually, we'll probably wash most of this in orange. I usually never thin the dyes. I go straight from the bottle with them. I love what orange does on these bodies. Mixing these colors just doesn't do it, but look at how awesome that orange is. Orange is like the fire color for this for some reason. I'll come back with some yellow in the middle. And there's the reaction. Blend all these colors in a little bit. You can see how much is picked up. Get it all to meld in a little bit. But man, that is just the coolest look. We'll do this on the back side. Again, for the back side, we'll start with some dark brown. Doesn't have to be exact on the back. It's not book matched, so it won't look the same. No matter how many times I do this, I'm always amazed at how these colors work themselves out. And on the sides, we'll just take the dark brown and work that in. And apply the same colors in the same order. I'm not going to add any red. I'll just do some orange and yellow. We'll let this sit for 24 hours, come back, hit it with a sander, and then apply one more coat of yellow, and this thing will look outstanding. Alright, so it's all sanded out, dry. What we're going to do is come back with some yellow and light this sucker on fire. This is the trick of all tricks from what I've learned. Little Angelus yellow at the end here, and this should be it. And you can see it. I may want to add a little bit of red to the outside. You can see how much of that color I pick up. I want to make sure you don't move it around too much. Get that center nice and yellow, and then you'll just rub color back out here. That's awesome. Alright, same thing to the back. A little bit of yellow. This one's a little bit more orange. But you can see how much this brightens up. Once I get that center, what I'll do is then I'll move to the outside and just sort of refresh the brown and the red. Move it around a little bit. That's it. So what we'll do is let this sit. Dry off. We'll come back with 4 coats of sanding sealer. Mohawk sanding sealer. You use the sanding sealer to get the stain to sit on the body so that when you apply an oil finish, it doesn't move. This is coat 3. Much heavier than the previous 2 coats. All right, so 4 coats of sanding sealer later. The first 2 coats were very light. The last 2 coats were heavier. We're going to come back with some velvet oil. I did a review of velvet oil on my channel a couple weeks ago. The way you apply this is you put a nice heavy coat on, you let it sit, and then you wipe it off. And then you apply a couple more coats that same way. What you want this stuff to do is soak in to the pores and seal. I did not do the steel wool trick on this. I just left it. You can see how much yellow is getting pulled up after that. But we are going to let this soak in. Nice thick coat. Come to the back side. Same thing. The front will soak up so much more oil than the back. The Burl is going to really swallow up that dye. It's essentially all end grain. And then the back and the sides won't. So I'll probably have to do just 2 coats on the sides and the back, and probably 3 to 4 on the front. You can see how uneven this coloring coat is already. Some spots are really drawing this in, some aren't. So we'll let this dry for 30 minutes, come back and wipe this off. It's starting to warm up slightly in Chicago. So this ended up coming out really, really nice. I only put 1 coat of velvet oil on here. I didn't feel like it needed another coat. It sealed it really well. The coloring on this body is really outstanding. I love the Burl look with the multicolor stains. This really is, I think, one of the best color combinations out there in terms of dark brown, red, orange, and yellow. Really just makes an outstanding looking guitar. The one sort of thing I was surprised about, the epoxy I placed in these crevices, it had some bubbles, even though I used the heat trick. Not really sure what happened there. It picked up a little bit of the red and yellow as I was staining it. So not really sure why it did that. Still looks good. Love the sort of multicolor look. Real neat looking guitar body. So we're going to assemble this. This is another one of those that's going to be for sale shortly. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.